We've got Minnesota at Cincinnati. You talked about the backups. Nick Mullins in for the Vikings. Are you expecting that to change the fantasy outlook for Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, and no Matheson this week, but we have got Ty Chandler?
Yeah, I think Ty Chandler is definitely interesting. I think particularly looking at the 3-game slate, he'll be chalky. We saw enough from him last week where Ty Chandler looked decent. Kenny Nwangwu was in for about 3 snaps. They really weren't trying to get him involved in the kind of way which they could have. So I think it's fair to say this is going to be Ty Chandler's backfield. We'll probably see slightly more of Nwangwu this week. But in terms of Nick Mullins, I mean, he last started a game in 2021 for the Niners. He went 20 of 30 that day for 147 yards. And he did get hot with the Niners in 2020 at a point where, that was really where it felt like any quarterback could do well in Kyle Shanahan's system. So there's people sort of talking up, okay, well, when he was with the Niners, he targeted the tight end position a lot. Well, the Niners back in 2020, they didn't really have Brandon Ayuk firing on all cylinders. They didn't have Deebo Samuel. It was a different Niners offense. So they needed George Kittle to be the kind of the front and center of it. Now, I'm not saying I don't think Hawkinson's a good play this week. I just think you need to temper expectations slightly. I think that what Nick Mullins is going to do is go in there and be kind of fine. Last week he went 9 of 13 for 83 yards. But I think I'd probably be more interested in Jake Browning, who we've seen a decent sample size from now. We know that he is going to play competently. We know that Cincinnati are working hard to get the ball out quickly in screens. He's been very productive with screens. We saw Chase Brown take a long one. We saw Joe Mixon have a good run. So I think you can look at both. I'd rather go with Jake Browning, and he will be the chalkier of the two options. And then as far as the wide receivers in this game go, I mean, this game could have been incredible. If you had Justin Jefferson fully healthy with Kirk Cousins, if you had Jamar Chase fully healthy with Joe Burrow. But it's just a little difficult to really get too excited because the Vikings have been good against the pass, I think. So perhaps they can temper Jamar Chase slightly. We know he's been very up and down. And then on the other side of this, the Bengals defense has been hard to read. Jordan Addison's completely disappeared lately. TJ Hawkinson's been fine, but I don't think you can really have any faith in starting Justin Jefferson. So it's a game where, for DFS purposes, there's probably a bit of sneaky shootout potential involved if both offenses get going. But it's not really one I want to be aggressive on.
No, I think it's a strange one, isn't it? They always say styles make fights. Well, Jake Browning has got an incredibly unique style. He's got the lowest ADOT of any quarterback in the league at the moment. With that is a crazy high adjusted completion percentage. But that ADOT is not sustainable. Most quarterbacks are around 7 to 10. I think Jake Brown's at like 5.6 at the moment. It's pathetic. And the Vikings defense is wild. They blitz at the highest rate in the league. They drop 8 into coverage at the highest rate in the league. It's very much we're bringing everything or we're bringing nothing. And if the Bengals are just going to check down constantly with Jake Brown and not push the ball downfield, I wonder if the Vikings are almost not going to rush, because there's no point rushing if they're going to get the ball out quick and just drop 8. They're going to play a lot of this 3 safety look that they've been playing all season. And I kind of wonder if the Vikings have got the potential to completely shut down this offense unless the Bengals are going to try and do something different. I think we've now got tape of Jake Browning. It's 2 full games where he played very well. But it's a very simplified scheme, and he's not pushing the ball down the field apart from a couple of shots to T. Higgins last week. So I kind of feel like we need something more from Jake Browning for this game to be competent. And if he's just going to sit back and check down and be screen orientated and not offer much in that side of the thing, I feel like this could be a really disappointing, low-scoring affair that is not particularly enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you summed up well there. The way to beat blitz can be with screens or with short passes, but if that's how this game goes, I'm not sure that it's going to hit the ceiling which people might want it to.
No, absolutely. If you are here, if you're watching live, get those questions in. Tom and I will be answering 100% of your questions throughout the show, whether that be DFS questions, whether that be redraft, start sit, trade questions, whatever you've got, we'll be answering it throughout this show.